All right, guys. Actually, I wasn't gonna come on, but I saw there was three people waiting. I, actually, this live stream was supposed to be for Monday, but thank you for joining me. Whoever is on, I saw that two or three people were here, so I'll go ahead and just go ahead and do the live stream, and then whoever over the weekend wants to watch, they can go ahead and watch the live stream. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. It's Friday the 13th. September 13th, 2024. The time now is 9:47 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching me, that means you're a boring person. Just kidding. Just kidding. Hold on. So today we're going to be talking about structures on Mars, artificial structures on Mars. Hold on. Let's see what we got going on here. Let me see if I can put this. If I can put this on another. Hold on, guys. Bam, bam, bam. Oops. That's too small. Let's move this along here. Okay. All right. All right. Hold on. What's happening over here? So I come on because I saw three people were on, and now those three people are gone. Ah, oh, that's funny. Hold on. I come on, and those people just left. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Excuse me. We're going to be talking about the structures on Mars. This presentation was given by Dr. Thomas C. Van Flandern. He is, or was, because he passed away in 2009. He was an astronomer at the U.S. Navy Naval Observatory. He also did consulting for the Army for their geofence or their, the GPS systems. And he saw some of the photos that were coming back in the 90s and the early 2000s. One of the first real good photos of Mars. And he believes that Mars has vegetation, that Mars has the pictures that he has, that Mars has possibly trees. And there is water on Mars. There are other astronomers that have seen time lapse images, right? That shows that Mars has the seasons, and in the seasons, there is water going down gullies. So let me go ahead and review this presentation with you. This is the artificial structures on Mars from April 5th, 1998 to May 8th, 2001. The overview is this. When it comes to the evidence for artifacts on Mars, people are divided into two categories. Those who find scientific analysis more convincing than imagery, and those who find the reverse to be true. Here, we present evidence that may appeal to both categories. So in this slide, he has the famous Cydonia face, or the face on Mars, and I think it's 5 pyramids. So what he's saying is, what we're actually looking at is a face on Mars. And a lot of other observers, scientists from NASA and others have stated that it's not a face, it's just an illusion, an optical illusion from lighting. But he looked at several different pictures in different points of lighting, and it is an actual face. So this is the face on the old equator. Today, the face is located at 41 degrees north latitude and is titled from upright north oriented by an angle of 21 degrees prior to the last major pole shift on Mars. The polar wandering on Mars, the face is located on the Martian equator oriented upright. So I hope you can see the face right here. And this is this area right here is supposedly pyramids. People believe that these are pyramids, ancient pyramids. So the face was discovered in 1976 by the Viking image. This is one of two images first attracting attention to face on Mars. The image processing has now brought out details on the shadowed side, not originally visible, showing that the mesa has a surprising degree of bilateral symmetry, which a natural object was expected to show more randomness. What I find interesting is that there are some images of Mars that are super clear, and then there's other images that are extremely blurry. And it's really annoying that the majority of the images that we get now are basically cameras facing the floor and rocks. Why can't they do like just a regular visual of Mars like you would if you were walking down the street? That's what I don't understand. It's so annoying. All we get is, the camera facing down and just concentrating on a rock or two rocks or a group of rocks. Now, the next image is supposedly the JPL version, where they obviously whitewashed the image of the so-called face, the Viking face, or the face Viking image. This is supposedly the image of the face. Now, it looks like to me like they completely just blurred everything out and erased a few things, because that does not look like the previous image we just saw. So what they're saying, this is the face in 1998, and this is the JPL version, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory mission image. This was released, and the image of the face is by passing the spacecraft data through a high pass filter and low pass filter, then averaging the source. Okay, so then he goes through the high pass filter, how it works. Here's another unfiltered image from another side. This is an image in 1998, April 5th. The face actually looked like this. Only standard image processing, such as a single uniform adjustment for brightness and contrast, is to bring them into range seen best by human eyes. And then he gives you all the angles. Now, this is one angle, this is another angle, and this is another angle with the correction and lighting. So again, it does look like a face. Very clearly, it looks like a face. And it looks like an artificial object, because how is it that this, I guess you can say, monument, it looks like a deteriorating monument. How does it have a nose, two eyes, and a mouth? And you can clearly see, if you guys, I will say, if you biggie size it, you can clearly see that there's nostrils on the nose area. Two holes right here. This is clearly a face. So using advanced image processing techniques, the 3 computer graphics professionals contributed to the showing of how the face object would change appearance if the lighting were optimized 1 and 2 and if viewed from overhead instead of 45-degree slant angles. And then they have a face animation. Oh, you can't open this link. Let's move to the next. Another slide. It's a scientific method. He talks about the eyebrow, the nostrils, the iris, the lips. His conclusion on what he thinks, what the face is. The natural origin hypothesis is disproved at odds of 1,000 billion to billion to 1. The artificial of Cydonia is established beyond a reasonable doubt. That was his conclusion. Again, this is an expert, an astronomer, scientist, or, I guess you can call him scientist. He has a PhD from Yale. He worked for the U.S. Naval Observatory. He's consulted for the Army. He started his own research company, Meta Research, conveniently, Meta Research. And then he has a quote by Stephen Goldberg, and it states, "The consequences of a claim that something is true are entirely irrelevant to the issue of whether the claim is true." Now they're looking at the Oort crater on the moon. It's kind of blurry, but it looks like a pyramid. The Oort crater on the moon, the best triangle and one of the most artificial looking objects in the solar system other than Earth or Mars, is a Oort crater on the moon. The inset shows the lunar orbiter image, making the crater interior appear triangular. The main image is from a Clementine spacecraft, showing that the sides are not linear nor the vertices sharp. The higher resolution view revealed this to be probably be a natural feature. Then he talks about the embedded triangles in the Cydonia area. So the embedded triangles at the Cydonia, which is not a coincidence, right? You have an image of a face, and then you have these triangle things that could be mountains, but looks more artificial. As many as 5 congruent equispaced triangles can be traced on the original image. The Cydonia region alone contains dozens of triangles, better than the one in the Oort crater on the moon. Triangles whose sides end in sharp vertices are extremely rare in most of nature. So this is, I guess he's talking about this triangle that's embedded right here. Okay, and then here's another triangle, the DM pyramid. The DM pyramid, 2 smooth triangle faces and proximity to the face make an artificial origin more likely than a natural one. Given the artificiality of the face, this pyramid would therefore not stand alone as evidence of artificiality. Rather, it is an evidence of a function or purpose. More than an isolated improbable shape is needed to conclude artificiality. Context and relationships are possible qualifiers. This image is from the Viking image. Again, this is with a group of pyramids aligned with the face of Cydonia. Here we get into possible reflections. Very hard to see. There are better images out there, but I don't have them right now. The strip feature at the base of the one visible smooth face of this pyramid, or this pyramid-like object, might be a landslide debris, but a faint reflection seems to appear just above it, and the cloud-like features next to it. If those are reflections, then the surface is shiny, as for glass or metal, unlike natural terrain. And he also had images of these tube like things that are doesn't look like it's possibly done in nature. It looks like it's a you remember that slingy stuff when you were a kid? The slingy that or the not the slingy. It was like a slingy, but it was like the one that you would crawl to. It was like a fad back in the day, in the 90s I think it was, where it was like this play tube like thing. That's what it looks like in the other images. And it's all over a certain area of Mars. It looks like this area here, but it just goes along uh, certain gullies. Let's see if we can get to the next image. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a bad image. Supposedly, this image is block, circle, arrow, shapes of high linearity, angularity, and symmetry are in general associated are generally associated with artificial structures and are uncommon in nature. Let's move to the next one, and I'm going to show you some real. Okay, here we go. So this image cannot be done by nature. It looks like something landed there in this image over here on the right hand side. It looks like something landed there, right? Because that's the impression. I believe this would be ice. And then you have this round thing right here. They don't look like craters. And then you have this T image with this line under this T structure going under, which looks like, if we had a better look at it, better pixels, could be like a riverbed or some type of area where some type of liquid flows through. That's what it looks like to me. So it looks like a building, a T formed building. And this right here is kind of strange too. A T formed building with some type of liquid bed going under it here. But of course, we're just speculating because these images are old and, you know, is the best that we got because everything else is airbrushed. Here, showing you more craters. It's kind of blurry. We'll move on. This one's interesting. This looks like sand dunes, what you would see on a beach. You know, those little bushes that come up on the beach dunes. This is what it looks like. And let me see if I can make it bigger. No, I can't. Sorry, guys. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, what happened? Or maybe I can't. Darn it. Okay. Well, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a little brush or like in the desert, how you see those little, they're not cactus. What are they? It's like tumbleweed, but not really tumbleweed. This looks like some type of plant life. Now it talks about spots of seasons. Here we go. More of that rock slash plant life. Here you go. Very strange. These images you don't usually see on NASA front page. You usually have to go digging for these images. It looks like snow to me, but again, we don't know because it's black and white. Here we go. So look at these little lines right here. He was talking about this looks like some type of artificial structure. These little lines. Some people say it's water, it's previous water when the planet was, you know, I guess had activity. It was previous water erosion, but he's saying that it looks like structures. It doesn't look like erosion. And what he says is the crenulations, rows of parallel white stripes, are seen in numerous locations on Mars. Often, these lie along the borders of mesas containing shapes themselves, suggestive of artificiality. The example on the right shows a hint of the tube like structures seen underneath these stripes wherever the ground is broken. Here's more of them, very clear. He believes these are not naturally formed. He believes these are like some type of tunnel structures. So the crenulations are underground tubes. Ground fissures seem to expose a network of glassy or translucent underground tubes. The bright spot might be a specular reflection of the sun, consistent with a glassy or plastic skin. The magnified view shows that while white lines are bands that appear to wrap completely around the tubes. So he's seeing pictures like these all over Mars. And I believe he talked about this area was a collapse. One of these areas was a collapse, and you can tell in the image that something collapsed on top of it. Here's more of the tubes. Straight line. Again, these are horrible images. I've seen better images than this. This translucent and highly reflective properties of the tubes are easily seen here. Tubes are typically 20 to 30 meters in diameter. Okay, and here's another network of tubes. Okay, sorry about that. So these are another network of tubes. Here's one. Here's another. And they're in the crevices of these, I guess, cliff formations, rock formations. And he's talking about it being a tube network, and the tubes appear in complex networks that involve perpendicular intersections. As unlike lava tubes, as these tubes are anyway, no known type of lava flows formations could form perpendicular tubes. And then he has some tubes on a cliff. Here's more. A bunch of them here. And then here. Okay, the tubes on the cliff. More tubes turned up in the latest image from the Cydonia region of the flat top mesa known as the Lif. The magnified features have an unusual degree of linearity to them. And he's saying that this is what it would look like if we were on the ground in Mars. And I believe this is exactly what it would look like. So he's thinking that this is what's actually down there. These type of tubes, somebody created them. They're see-through. They're translucent. They could be plastic or were plastic, glass, whatever the case may be. And they're within the crevices or the cliffs or whatever it is, the gullies of Mars. If Mars held ancient peoples at one time, this may be their structures. But I'm going to show you something that's even more mind-blowing once I'm done with the presentation. This is another picture that was taken by, which one is this? Forgot which is the source. Anyways, this image was taken, and he's saying that these are, and this is not from our rover. This is an old image. I forgot. I think this was in the 90s, or I think it was in the 90s. These images are from the 90s. He's saying that these tracks are not natural. So the plain track, wide, shallow, linear tracks of uniform depth with lengthy, parallel rows of closely spaced dune-like ridges certainly cannot be water carved. They are suggestive of the transport of heavy machinery. Okay, so he believes that these tracks are from machinery, and it wasn't done by you know, our machines. Now, this is another track. These tracks on the left, we see a low resolution overview of several tracks, showing their appearance over hundreds of kilometers. The small white box indicates that the location of the high resolution image on the right of the track that passes tangentially just below the two large craters. In the close up view, we see that this track again passes precisely tangent to another crater too small to be seen in the previous overview image, and has characteristics similar to the other tracks. These are taking a little, okay, here we go. This one's a track with a fork. So sometimes the tracks show branching, as in the image, and these are signs of possible sparse vegetation follow the tracks. So he's talking about this is vegetation, could be small trees, bushes. You guys are going to get blown with the image that I'm going to show you at the end. It's going to blow your mind. This right here, the tracks parallel or track parallels the terrain. Another example shows again both broad and closely spaced features beside unusual trackside formations, looking more biological than geological. So what does that look like to you? These things right here. And these shadows right here. Of course, we're speculating because we're not going to know the truth. We won't be able to confirm it. We can just look at the images and take a best guess of what we're looking at. Are we looking at trees? Are we looking at bushes? Are we looking at something else? This is the most amazing ones. This right here. You haven't seen these photographs from Mars. I guarantee. I've never seen anybody post these photographs from Mars. Okay. He's saying, again, the astronomer that worked for 20 years at the US Naval Observatory is saying that this looks like vegetation. These look like trees, and these are pictures of above the canopies. And this is what we're looking at, trees, some type of tree structure. So possible vegetation, the thickness of the dark structures increases at lower altitudes, just as it does on Earth. The edges have a fractal character, almost a signature of vegetation on Earth. On the right, a radial quality, much like terrestrial life with a stem or a trunk, again, trees, and may be discerned. So here it looks like a canopy, tree branches everywhere. Imagine being in a forest. So this would be considered like the forest of Mars. Trees everywhere with the branches. And you can see clearly the branches. Now they were trying to explain it, supposedly NASA and scientific community of NASA, explaining this part as crystals on the ground or some type of crystal structure. That does not look like crystal structures to me. It looks like a tree, a big ass tree with, shadows. Trees in winter. Here's another image. Again, a canopy of a tree or trees or some type of, I I guess you can say green life or life form that has what looks to be branches and it has shadows. Now, could this be weird mountains? That's a stretch. That's a stretch. But could it be weird mountains? Okay, I can give you that much. But it looks like trees from the top. Some weird type of tree, like the Joshua trees. Just think of it that way. Let's look at the Joshua trees. Let me see if I can find one. Let me see if I'm correct. Maybe it's not the Joshua tree, but something like it. There's like a tree in Africa where it's like the strange, it almost looks like a mushroom, but it's huge. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, and this is another thing that I hate about NASA. They give you these weird ass images, like all chopped up. Like, why are you going to give me a chopped up ass image like this? You know? They give you like these weird, like half ass images. So here they're saying that it's called the seahorse. This familiar shape appears in an area of Sidonia, just below an apparent artistic image of the quote unquote waterfall, and in immediate proximity in other images to shapes associated with the aquatic organisms and underwater scenes like fish, crab, and the dolphin, quote unquote. The context and relationships, rather than just the shape, are suggestive of an artificial origin. And this is weird, actually. The actual picture of the so-called the dolphin of Sidonia, and then this is the whitened version of the picture. It looks like a dolphin, but it could be, some type of. There could have been some type of water or some type of liquid in that area that formed that. So the dolphin, a second familiar shape from the aquatic area of Sidonia. The shape just below the dolphin image shown may be a companion dolphin. And he's talking about this being a scorpion in an apparent insect-like species area. We see this possible scorpion near a possible spider image, but the spider image is not shown. The comparison figure reveals that detail in the stinger, the body, and the claws may be seen. So this insect is drilled, or I guess, fossilized in the ground of this area. And these are horrible pictures, but I'm sure they have better images. I'm sure he's had his hands on better images. And then animals with antlers. Let's skip that. It's a horrible image. This is a small animal. This has the appearance of a distinct animal shape. Now, did they draw this, or was it like a giant animal fossil that is embedded into the ground, into the surface? It shows animal shape with legs, body, head, eye, and possibly horns. The inset is a guide to the eye to evaluate the actual image from Mars on the left. This is a bird, I guess. If he's looking at it, it looks like a fossil. This bird, in a different part of the same strip image that contains the preceding small animal, we see this familiar shape too. The body markings are rich in detail and suggestive of feathers. Eventual color images will determine if colors are appropriate for the artificial interpretation. Colors that say or that stay consistent within lines is something unlikely to happen by chance. This is a scene, supposedly, this is an artistic image. Multiple interpretations are possible. I don't know what that is. It's like a bunch of like tsunami of something that crushed together. That's what it looks like. And then here, supposedly, there's an image of what it looks to be like a child embedded in the surface of Mars, located immediately adjacent to the main Cydonia face on its north side. So maybe the Cydonia area was like a city, or, what we consider a city or a town. And that's where they had their most, artistic statues and drawings. And if we are to believe that there was some type of humanoid life form in ancient times before the cataclysm. So while very low contrast, presumably because of the overgrown or overblown sand, the lines the lines and darkened areas comprising this figure are complete, with few if any random lines. And then I believe yeah, here we start getting into like images of like Egyptian images. Somebody had a picture where they said that it would look like a statue of an Egyptian pharaoh. So this looks like an image, this right here. You can see it, it's so clear as day. It's like seared into the ground. It looks like an image, it looks like a man to me, but not a, they have it as a woman. It looks like a man to me because this looks like a beard. And you can see the eyes right here. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the actual eyes, the nose right here, the hair, and then the rest of the body, and then the hat. This is supposedly on the ground in Mars. So the Nefertiti face, one needs to study this image with an excellent monitor and good imaging software to see the amazing degree of detail present. For example, even features as small as the eyelashes over the eye are visible in the artist inset. It comes from the actual Mars image and involve no artistic license. The profile face with forehead, eye, nose, mouth, chin, neck, and ear. This profile face of a face, also in the Cydonia area, shows that his nearby is nearby. A more famous cousin is by no means the only significant face portrayal on Mars, or even in Cydonia region. So apparently all these images and all these things that are being caught in the area where supposedly there's these pyramids that are aligned in the equator with the face, or what people believe to be the face. Then you have the crown face. This is another famous image. It's like the face in the mountain. Very clear. You can see the nose, you can see the nostrils right there. You can see the mouth, you can see the chin, you can see the eyes looking at you. And then whatever this is, a hat or whatever, it's clearly a face. So the crown face, while not near the Cydonia area, this face portrayal is again striking for the richness of its detail, far better than the typical face arising in the clouds or geological formations on Earth. The latter tend to be distorted and grotesque when they are more than simply impressionistic. And then you have these lines, which he believes are infrastructure. Mars generally has no evidence of towns, roads, or dwellings, except perhaps in a few localized areas, such as this one. The thickest connecting lines seem to join the thickest concentrations of small surface objects. So, are these lines on the ground? They could be water lines, some type of other lines, or they can be tunnels. We don't know. Us humans, us peasants, won't be able to know. We won't ever know. I don't know what the hell this is, but it looks really interesting. He's saying that these could be complexes, maybe buildings, houses, kind of like how we see in Return of the Jedi, or The Empire Strikes Back, or Star Wars, where they're living in caves, but they're actual structures. That's what it looks like to me. Cave houses. Complex. This image displays all of the primary indicators of artificial structures: symmetry, linearity, angularity, and layering over a variety of scales, which are present here in the extreme. True. It looks very nice. I would put that on a t shirt. Here's another interesting one: arranged triangles. While these triangles might be shadows, the arrangement of so many nearly identical objects in lines and along concentric arcs of circles compels our attention. This is a crater. This is another crater. It's called the Cobra Mound. I can't really tell anything, but that it's a crater. Could look like Stonehenge. We don't know. Another part of the Cobra Mound. He's saying that this looks like interior of the crater, like excavation, surrounded by crenulation like markings. So he's saying that this is like a excavated area. Can't tell what that is, but he's saying that there's symbols. Can't see it. Very bad quality. Okay, this is trippy right here. There are words that they caught in this image, and he was saying that could it be, the person that was looking at the image and they just, as a joke, put words in the image, or if this is actually words that were captured in the image. So these are symbols. The image extracts and magnifies the white, quote unquote, V shape and the black markings above it from the previous image. We can already begin to see that the dark markings have an appearance of symbols. This can be seen directly in the original strip image of the NASA JPL site with the aid of the magnifying glass. So these are supposedly images. It looks like words to me, or some type of language. And this is supposedly on an image that came from Mars. And this is him lightening it up so you can see the wording or the symbols. And again, supposedly this came from an image that was taken from Mars. Can you imagine? It's us, right? So let's make pretend. Let's go ahead and tinfoil hat it. Can you imagine that the federal government had a secret space program, which they do. But anyways, they had a secret space program, and they've already sent people over there since let's say the 60s or the 70s, right? And those people over there are making fun of the regular common normies, right? Because they're in the know. So they do shit like this. They'll do symbols and like, excavate or do like carvings on certain like plateaus, just to like mess around with the population of Earth, the commoners that are getting like feedback. We're getting the images back now, and we think, oh, we've discovered something new, and it's we're already there. Actually, that would be hilarious. Actually, that would be really funny. Okay, to determine the truth, high resolution pictures, blah blah blah. He goes into uh, uh, what he did and how he did it. He talks about the face is an hominid, not an alien or an animal. Builders of civilizations ended as ours began at 3.2. So he believes, and he's not the only one, right? So this astronomer is not the only person that believes that a humanoid, one of us, like us, lived in Mars several million years ago. The remote viewers that work for the CIA, one of them stated that there were humans on Mars. When they remote viewed, they can see that there were humans on Mars. And the insider knowledge from the agency is that humans or space brothers from Mars were living there over a million years ago. So, this is someone completely different in a different, I guess you can say in a different industry, right? An astronomer, and then you have a secret super soldier for the CIA working on, psychic phenomenon and remote viewing, talking about the same thing in a different way. He's quoting Churchill. Man will occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of the time he will pick himself up and continue. That's how stupid we are, huh? Okay, so let me go ahead and show you these images right now. That should blow your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Oops. Un momento, por favor. Un momento. Let me get these images for you. It's gonna blow your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Ay, ay, ay. Do I have it here or do I have it over there? Where do I have this image? Sorry, guys. It's Friday. I know you have nothing to do if you're here. So, where is it? Oh, and then, okay, let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this real quick. Okay, can you see it? No, hold on. Let me shorten this. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Hold on. Oops. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is an image of Mars in 2016. Looks kind of interesting, huh? You think there's a little bit of oxygen there somewhere? Maybe a little water? Maybe a little agua? There is water in Mars, by the way. A little agua? That's an interesting image. It's not that red stuff that NASA always shows us, right? This is from the Hubble. And then we have 1995 pictures of Mars. With the solar region have, ice. And then we got the blue hue like Earth has, That means there's a type, the atmosphere is there. That means there's some gases going on. It's a little bit of rain somewhere, maybe. Some little bit of water coming out from somewhere. Doing the work. This is February of 1995. And where is it? Down here? Oh, here's another image that I just saw today. This is a more recent one, probably from the 90s or 2000s. What you're seeing in front of you is what looks to be water. Some type of liquid. Supposedly, and they were being honest in I think this was NASA or the JPL that I got it off of. Let me see. Where did I get? Yeah, NASA JPL. So this was from the Mars Global Surveyor images. And they're stating that this is seepage and ponding within a southern hemisphere crater in 1998. Seepage and ponding. Ponding. It looks like water to me, ladies and gentlemen. And then there's a video that I put up on X. Was it here? Where is it? Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Where is it? Did I put it down here? Okay, so this is another image from amateur astronomers. Let me see if I can get it. I'm not going to put the volume up because, oops. Yeah, let me not put the volume up because I get in trouble. The stalkers are watching. All right, so this is an image of Mars in 2003. Okay. Astronomers compared to NASA's images that they provide the public. Astronomers, NASA's image that they provide to the public. What do you see there? Astronomers, NASA's image that they provide to the public. Astronomers, NASA's image. You see the difference? The one on the left looks a lot more like Earth atmosphere. Looks a lot like Earth. And this video right here, this is one of NASA's, I think it's one of NASA's personnel or somebody from the universities that talk about the NASA images. He's talking about the seasons and how they're seeing water. There has to be, they're seeing a change every season where it seems like there's water coming, going down the gullies. So this is the image of the water going down the gullies. And they're saying, oh, it's salt water. He's saying it's salt water, but they don't really know. Or at least we don't really know if they're telling us the truth or not. But apparently, there's water running down the cliffs. You see that right there? That's water running down, running down, running down. And he's stating that it's seasonal. And every year, you see this play over and over and over again. Water running down. You see the water here? Look at that water. There's water on Mars. Every season, they see the water melt or, whatever happens in Mars, the seasons, however the seasons work there, and they see the water running down every year. So we know that there's water on Mars. And he's showing you the images of the changing seasons, or at least for this area. Now, where is... Oh, you guys should check out the Chronovision Project Mars. Where is... Let me go over here and see if I have a better look. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I have a better look of this. Let me find it. Oops. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Wata. Let's see if I can find it. Is it in this one? Oh, here we go. This is the image that I want you guys to see. Bling. Bleep, bleep, bling. And I showed it to you earlier, but you have to see this. Okay. So again, this is a better image of the trees. In my opinion, this is a shot of the whatever's flying around Mars, taking a picture from the top of trees. They look like trees. Look at the branches. And then you got little tiny smaller trees with the shadow. These are trees, a canopy, how you would look at it when you're flying over an area. Look at the branches. They're trying to say these are crystals. This shit does not look like crystals. It looks like some type of tree, a brush or something. And then you see the smaller ones down here. Those could be rocks, but these clearly, with the vein looking part, looks like really bushy trees. And these are all images from Mars. Now, could they be petrified trees? Okay, I can give you that much. But then you start getting into this populated area here. I don't think it's all rocks. These all look like maybe it could be like a weird type of forest, maybe. Again, I'm speculating. We don't know. It can't be confirmed. I can't confirm anything that I'm talking about. It just looks like the woods or the Mars woods to me, if there's such a thing, or a Mars bush to me. Look at that. Can you guys see that clearly? And then you get like a huge area right here, just covered in it, covered in all this. And this is the best image I've seen of Mars as of yet. These tree-looking things. All right, let me see if I have another. Oh, no, I think I had more. Okay, we saw that. Do I have anything down here? Okay, more trees. Okay, no, I don't have any more stuff on that. I was gonna get into this, but I'll get into it on maybe tomorrow or Sunday. Tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about the Blue Planet Project. And it's regarding the. Oh, wait, let me show you some more images. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to get into the blue. I think we're going to get into the Blue Planet Project, alien life forms. And then maybe, I'll give you some stuff on the some memos. And what are we going to talk about? It's going to be about the invisible government, facts about aliens on Earth, cattle mutilations, the Antarian connection, crop circles. I'll read you a list of a paper that gets into all this stuff. How many, if there's different types of aliens, government autopsies of aliens, alien bases, alien crafts, dimensional origins, biological scanners, quote unquote monitors. So aliens monitoring humans. We can pretty much state now that the at least some of them are monitoring people. There's millions and millions and millions of cases now worldwide since the 1940s that have been recorded of millions of people in every country, from every walk of life, from every race, being picked up by an extraterrestrial. Now, we don't know which extraterrestrial. Some people call them the little ones, the grays. Some people say they're not grays. There's the grays, there's the taller ones that are darker skin. Then you have the supposedly the German looking ones, is what I call them, the Palladians, the blonde hair, blue eye ones that are like 7 feet tall. They're constantly being picked up. They're running tests on humans. Fertility stuff is always part of this. Stuff with women's eggs, men's sperm. Some of these ufologists are talking about the gray types, or the ones that look like grays with the big heads and the skinny bodies. Those guys are us from the future. Supposedly, they are the ones that are doing all the experimentation on us, maybe 15,000 years into the future. As I just listened to someone today that was talking about one of the reasons that they're doing what they're doing. Again, we can't confirm this. The government will never confirm anything like this. But they're stating that the reason that the ones that abduct, because not all of them do, the ones that abduct are usually the same ones, the grays. The reason that they're doing this is because something happened to us and to that, well, to them, which is us in the future. Something happened. And that thing that happened has to deal with fertility, with who we are, with supposedly us going away, the transhumanist philosophy. They went away from the spiritual aspect of humanity and separated into different they separated from humanity and became those things. Again, this is, people are saying, this is some people's beliefs. And on top of that, not only did we separate or, you know, get further and further away from our spiritual self, the soul, God, that aspect of us. But some are saying that we destroyed the earth in 2012. That something, not we, excuse me. Let me correct that. This individual was saying that something happened to earth, something actually did happen to earth in 2012. And something was done that it changed the timeline. There was a catastrophe, supposedly, in 2012. And what we're experiencing now is them coming back, time travelers, them coming back and changing the events, trying to bypass the catastrophe. And then some people are saying that we're in a loop. Some actual physicist. There's a kid out there. He's a genius. I think his name is McLaughlin. Said that because of CERN, we actually destroyed ourselves. That's one of his theories, that we destroyed ourselves by messing around with the atoms, and we caused a parallel or another dimension or some type of situation where we jump from one timeline into another, or we merged one and we're in a loop. That's his belief in theory, right? It's a theory he has. And if you know anything about CERN, they had that emergency shutdown the last time that they were dealing in this, several years back. And then when they turned it on and they were trying to, do the explosion, when they were exploding the atoms or starting the Big Bang or creating the Big Bang, something happened on that day. And people were talking about it. Something happened. The power grids in certain areas were affected. Something happened to the magnetic field of the Earth on that day. Again, they had an emergency shutdown previously. One of those times they opened a door to a dimension, which they spoke about, that they saw something on the other side when they did it. And then some people have the belief. I personally had a dream it's going to be over 10 years ago now, that CERN opened a portal. I saw this in my dream. CERN opened a portal and this entity crossed over that was a giant shadow, an energy of darkness. And I knew, even though, I didn't really believe in this, in the dream, I woke up from the dream saying that the Antichrist had crossed over in the CERN portal. I saw the image, the thing, whatever it was. It didn't have a face. It was just pure darkness. I could see the silhouette, but you can see the muscles of darkness. It was like just a really charred, let's just put it that way. It wasn't charred, but I would say charred. charred body of a very powerful entity that was about 8 feet, 9 feet, I don't know how, 10 feet tall, coming through the portal of that collider. And I remember seeing the wormhole or whatever it was created and it crossing over, and it was pure pride. The entity was pure pride and power. And I woke up saying, like, speaking in my sleep, I woke up. And the person that I was with was looking at me like saying, "What's wrong?" I'm like, the Antichrist crossed over. They crossed over. Of course, nobody knew what I was talking about back then. But supposedly this genius kid said that we did destroy ourselves at some point, and that we're now in a loop, some type of you know, I don't want to say quantum loop, but some type of loop on a different timeline. And then someone else said something similar to this, that there was a catastrophe. We did die, or things did happen in 2012, and we just jumped to another timeline. So there's all these theories. Some people are saying this is real, but we can only call them theories because there's no way to confirm this stuff. And even if the government knew about this, they're not going to tell us, because that would literally turn everyone's belief system upside down. So there's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. And like I said, reality is stranger than science fiction, believe it or not. There's many things we don't understand. And it could be so awesome if the ruling parties of the planet would just allow us to know. At least I want to know. I want to know. This is so exciting to know that life, the universe has parallel universes, it's amazing. It's amazing that life is nothing like we understand it to be, or the dimensions are nothing like we understand it to be, or what we think it is. That blows my mind. It's like it just makes you want to like learn more if it's not what you were taught in school, you know? It's not my religion if it changes, right? Knowledge should never, like, learning something new that's legit or that's leading us further into knowing, shouldn't be a bad thing. Like, some people don't like change, but learning new things, and if it's leading us to understand what we are, what the universe is, what God is, what the heavens are, what darkness is, if it's leading us to learn more, we should be excited about that. But again, some people in this world are just dark and want to keep it all to themselves and are threatened by freeing everybody's mind and creativity, and they're just afraid. They're afraid to lose their power. It's just disgusting, actually. Disgusting. God damn it. Anyways, guys, I'm ranting. Um, Maybe I'll come back tomorrow with the Blue Planet. Let me see. Am I getting okay? Blue Planet Project. It's trippy. It's going to say a lot of things. Some things are unbelievable, but not for me. I've had too many experiences. I've seen too many things not to believe what I'm reading, because it's just confirming all of my experiences. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the Friday the 13th. Maybe you have a marathon watching, what is it? Jason or Freddy versus Jason. Maybe you have one of those. I used to do that when I was a kid. Do the marathon horror weekend. Stay safe. If you want to support, make sure you check out the links in the description. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Come hang out every night at 9 p.m. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.